get paid. I know I ain't ashamed of trying to make a wage now. Money, 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 money makes the world go round. I need money, 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 money.
The Story of Money.
Got me feeling down. They said go and chase
Story by Ed Steinberg.
the wake up. I need money, money, money.
Art by Norman Nodal.
Tell me where.
Directed and produced by Manny Hernandez.
It's like I gotta pay to breathe. Why are we romanticizing, working 9 to 5 and stifling our dreams? They tell me think about the future, yeah. But what if I don't even make it there? I don't wanna be what.
The Story of Money. What if there was no money?
It was like 55 quid for my phone bill.
Jeans Special Sale. How could we acquire things? If there were not such things as money, of course, we could trade away some of the things we own in order to get the things we want. But barter, trading items for other items, is inefficient. What if the jeans seller do not want the items you want to trade?
Are you out of your mind?
What would you offer the vending machine in exchange for a soda?
Insert payment here.
Let me think. I'll try entering a tie in exchange. Or maybe something liquid instead. If that doesn't work, maybe my economic book will.
Are you out of your mind?
Barter requires a coincidence of wants. Thus, for barter to take place, a person wanting to trade, let's say a textbook for a pair of jeans, must find someone willing to part with the jeans in exchange for a textbook.
Seeking economics textbooks, willing to offer tie in return. Will trade jeans for psychology textbook.
Finding a barter partner might require a long search.
By the time I find somebody willing to take my economics textbook, those jeans will be out of style anyway.
Money, tô gastando money. Depois que eu lancei o Megane, ela pede pra chupar.
That's right. It might take years to find someone who wanted the item you want to trade away.
What a coincidence! I've always wanted one of these textbooks.
So barter it is time-consuming. So if there were no money, people would be forced to be much more self-sufficient than they are now. That is, they would try to produce many of the things they want. Instead of acquiring them from other people, people in cold climates, for example, might try to grow their own bananas.
If you think that vine will grow in Buffalo, you're bananas. Oh, forget it.
Then, too, people like Mr. Wonderful here might try to produce their own dairy products. You'd have people trying to milk cows who don't know one end of the animal from the other. And can you imagine how poor the quality would be if people tried to produce their own comic books instead of letting the experts write them? With money, though, it's much easier to conduct transactions.
I like coins more than economics books.
Because money makes it easy to conduct transactions, we don't have to be self-sufficient and produce for ourselves all the different things we want. Instead, our economy is characterized by division of labor. Division of labor means that we don't all try to produce all the things we want. Instead, we divide the labor, with some people producing dairy products, for example, while others produce comic books and other manufacture automobiles. That creates a higher standard of living for all of us. Why does division of labor lead to a higher standard of living? For our society, there are at least two answers. First, by specializing rather than trying to produce everything, people become more adept at those tasks and, therefore, more productive. Second, economies of scale develop as the use of specialized machinery makes production even more efficient. With economies of scale, the per unit cost of production goes down as you produce more.
Say cheese.
We now understand one of the major uses of money in society. Money serves as a medium of exchange, that is, it's what we use to buy things with and to sell things for.
I'll use some of this money to get my fortune told. You are my favorite medium.
And this is my favorite
What
medium of
properties
exchange.
most money have? In order to serve as an effective medium of exchange, first of all, it must be acceptable to people who want to sell things. Sellers must be confident that the money they accept from you will be acceptable to the people from whom they in turn want to buy things.
Sure, I'll take them.
Sure, I'll take them.
Sure, I'll take them.
What if the same money were not acceptable everywhere in the country? Suppose that the money that circulated in New York were not acceptable to Californians.
Sorry, New York money isn't good here.
New Yorkers would have trouble buying items from California. Californians would have trouble buying things from New York, and residents of both states would have a lower standard of living. A nation's money is acceptable throughout its country. But if you want to buy things in another country, you have to use that nation's money. For example, if an Italian opera singer goes to see a doctor in the United States, he has to pay in dollars, not in euro.
Sorry, that's not acceptable.
Similarly, an American who wants to buy things in England must use pounds.
When I go shopping in England, I first convert some dollar into pounds.
Although money must be acceptable as payment for items that we want to buy, money does not have intrinsic value. That is, it does not have to consist of something that has value in its own right, apart from its use as a medium of exchange.
I may as well spend it. There's not much else to do with it.
In earlier times, though, people did use types of money that had intrinsic value. The ancient Chinese used chisels as money.
My neighbor seems to have more money than he deserves.
Yeah, he's a real chiseler.
Other societies have used fish as money.
My neighbor seems to have more money than she deserves.
Yeah, there's something fishy about her.
Yet, others have used cattle as money.
That stock market deal was no bum steer.
And, of course, many societies have used gold.
I guess they couldn't think of any puns about us.
To coin a phrase.
Why do we no longer use such items as money?
It's too bad people don't use you guys as money anymore.
Yes, if they did, then the money the astronauts carry would be the hurt shot round the world.
Answering that question will help us understand some of the other properties that money should have in order to serve as an effective medium of exchange. What's wrong using chisels as money?
How many does it cost?
I don't know. I am thinking.
Well, first of all, How would you make change if someone bought less than a chisel's worth of whatever you were selling? Using cattle as money creates the same problem.
Making change is a real pain.
You can say that again. If it isn't one thing, it's an other.
Money must be divisible, as the dollar is divisible into half dollars, quarters, dimes, nickels, and pennies. And many of the items used as money earlier eras were not divisible.
Don't rush me, I'm packing my wallet. Don't rush me, I'm packing my wallet.
There's something familiar about that wallet.
Don't rush me, I am packing my wallet.
I'll be packing them like sardines. If my business weren't underwater.
Money must also be fungible. No, that doesn't mean it has to be able to grow mold. It means that one unit of money must be interchangeable for another. Chisels, fish, and cattle don't meet this requirement.
Are these for $100 cows or $500 cows?
You call this a chisel?
You call this a fish.
Money must be fungible because besides serving as a medium of exchange, it also serves as standard of value, that is, as a unit in which we can measure the price or value of many different things. The money that we use is fungible. Any dollar is worth the same as any other dollar. Old and worn bills and coins are worth precisely the same amount as crisp and shiny new ones.
I cannot tell a lie. You're worth as much as I.
Money must also be relatively stable in value, and items such as cattle and fish don't meet that requirement. Why must money be relatively stable in value? One is that in addition to serving as medium of exchange and as a standard of value, money also serves as the store of value, that is, as a way of storing up purchasing power. Storing up purchasing power is what you do when you save. Some types of money that were used in the past were not very effective in performing money role as a store of value.
Good grief! There go my savings!
If people save some types of money too long, they might find that their savings had actually dried up. We are all familiar with coins and paper money that we use as money today. But that's just one kind of money we use in the United States. The kind we keep in our pockets and can spend in stores and restaurants, newsstands, and movie theaters. Most of the U.S. money supply consists of something else. However, the majority of the money in the United States consists of the amounts that people and businesses have in checking accounts. When you use a check to buy something, you're telling your bank to take money from your checking account and send it to the other person's checking account. Merchants' bank money goes in. Teenagers' bank money goes out. The value of transactions for which checks are used is much larger than the value for which currency is used. That's because checks have some major advantages over currency. One advantage is safety. If you lose cash, it's gone. But if you lose a check, you haven't lost your money, which is in your account in the bank. Another advantage is convenience. Think, for example, of how much easier it is to mail someone a check for $49.99 and to mail the same amount in cash. Also, a check is proof that you have made a payment, but if you mail cash to pay a bill, you have no proof that you sent it.
Accounts Receivable Department. How may I assist you?
Yes. I have the cancelled check right here.
Accounts Receivable Department. How may I assist you?
No, I can't tell you the serial number on the $10 bill that I mailed.
Checks offer another advantage. They make money. Extremely portable because the money exists. Simply, I see bookkeeping and 3 at a bank. Another advantage is convenience. Think, for example, of how much easier it is to mail someone a check for $19.99 down to mail the same amount in cash. You don't have to carry it anywhere. In order to transfer it to someone else, the check serves as the instruction to your bank to transfer the money out of your account into the other person's account. Despite these advantages, the cost of processing checks Mr. use on economical for small transactions.
Check it out.
Experts say comic books are educational.
I want you to check out the news stories. Not write me a check. The paper costs only 50 cents.
What's wrong with this machine?
Sorry, no checks.
Like checks, credit cards often are a convenient way to buy things.
Charge it, please.
A credit card is not money, though. When you charge something with a credit card, you are simply promising to pay for the item at a later date after your credit card bill arrives.
I can use the pen that I bought with a credit card to write a check to pay the bill.
We have seen that currency and what is held in checking accounts are both kinds of money, and we know that we would all like to have more money. Does that mean that everyone would be better off if we all had more money?
Yes!
The answer may surprise you. It is no. To understand why, we must remember that our money has not intrinsic value. We can't eat it. For example, you.
I prefer a real bread.
I prefer real cabbage.
I even prefer real dough.
Money, money, tô gastando money. Depois que eu lancei o Megane, ela pede pra chupar.
The things that do have intrinsic value are the goods and services that our economy produces. Things like food, housing, and educational medical services. If there's too much money around in relation to the nation's output of goods and services, the result can be inflation, that is, a general rise in prices.
Why does the balloon that used to cost $25 now cost $1?
It's called inflation, pal.
When people have more money to spend, and the volume of goods and services doesn't increase as fast, sellers find that they can raise prices and sell as much as they did before. Sign $1 a piece.
Boss, every customer comes in with a fistful of dollars. Should I put up the new sign? Go ahead, make my day.
New sign, $2 a piece. Inflation can be bad for several reasons. One is that undermines the value of people's savings.
I could have bought more with my savings 2 years ago than I can now.
Also, inflation is unfair in that it takes some people worse off because their incomes don't rise as fast as prices.
I'm sorry, but this is all Grandma can afford. My pension doesn't go as far as he used to.
Inflation also hurts people who lend money at interest rates that don't at least equal the rate of inflation.
I can't buy as much with this $105 as I could have bought last year with the $100 that I lent you.
Rapidly rising prices also can create a mood of uncertainty that can discourage saving and investing and hurt the growth of the economy.
I better not build too many houses. Lumber cost and wages are going way up, and he may not be able to charge enough for the houses to make a profit.
Over time, the certainty fear can lead to a business downturn. And a business downturn means lower incomes and more unemployment. While to rapid growth in the money supply is a danger to the wealth of the economy, the slow growth in the money supply also poses a threat. Home back. We have no money to lend. If there isn't enough money in the economy, people won't be able to borrow to buy things like houses and cars, and businesses won't be able to borrow to invest in new factory and equipment. Again, the result can be a recession, a period when the amount of goods and services that the country produces actually declines. So the supply of money in the economy must grow neither too rapidly nor too slow, but at a rate that keeps the value of our money stable and leads to steady growth in the economy.
This money supply got too big. This money supply got too small. The money supply is just right.
Through this process, the banking system actually creates money. By its power to set level of reserve requirements, the Fed influences the amount that bank can lend out and the amount of money that the banking system can create. In practice, the process of influencing the money supply is a complicated one, but it's one that Congress has designated the Fed to perform. When it works well, the U.S. economy can benefit from its potential to grow strongly and provide Americans with adequate jobs and a high standard of living.
And having a modern money system with the Fed influencing the money supply certainly beats the old days when I had to worry about giving change.